Hello everyone, this is Ike, and welcome to today's episode of These Verse. Today's topic is the silver trumpet versus the ram's horn. Yes, very interesting topic. And today we're going to be reading from my Strong's Concordance, this big old Strong's Concordance. It's the New Strong's Expanded Exhaustive Concordance of the Bible, Red Letter Edition. And it's one of the best-selling Strong's Concordance, and it says the most complete, accurate, and up-to-date New Strong's with Hebrew and Greek dictionaries, words, and everything in it. So it's a real good Strong's Concordance. And I actually found it pretty cheap on Amazon. I found it for $20. Now, when I originally bought the Strong's Concordance, it was $80 from Barnes and Noble, and it's still $80, but you can find it cheap on Amazon. So, just throwing it out there for y'all if you're looking for the Strong's Concordance. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. We're gonna start with Numbers chapter 10. And I'm going to be reading verses 1 through 3, and then I'm going to jump to verse 10. And today's topic is the silver trumpet versus the ram's horn. We're going into the commandment that tells us to use the silver trumpet. And it reads, it says, in Numbers chapter 10, starting at verse 1, it says, "And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Make you 2 trumpets of silver. Of a whole piece shall you make them, that you may use them for the calling of the assembly and the journeying of the camp. And when you shall blow with them, all the assembly shall assemble themselves to you at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation." Jumping down to verse 10. It says, "Also in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginning of your months, you shall blow with the trumpet over your burnt offerings and over your sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be for a memorial of blowing before me. I am the Most High." So you see in verse 10, the Most High saying that you're supposed to blow these 2 silver trumpets, because at verse 2 it tells you, make yourselves 2 silver trumpets and use them for the blowing of the assembling of the congregation, right? So in verse 10 it says, "Also in the days of your gladness, and in your solemn days," which is your solemn feast days, your holy days, "and in the beginning of your months," meaning each month you're supposed to celebrate the beginning of the new moon, the new month, with the blowing of the 2 silver trumpets. "You shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings and over your sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be as a memorial before the Most High." So this is something that we were commanded to do. This is something that we always did. We always use these 2 silver trumpets for these particular days. And the Strong's Concordance number for trumpets in this verse is 2689. And when you look up 2689, it simply says, it means trumpets. And we know from Numbers chapter 10, it's referring to the silver trumpets. Now let's go to the law about the Feast of Tabernacles. In Leviticus chapter 23, verse 24. And it reads, it says, "Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall you have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and holy convocation." Right? And Strong's Concordance you get for that trumpet in that verse is also 2689. Sorry. So it's the same Strong's Concordance number, 2689 in the Hebrew. Look it up and it's going to simply say the word means trumpet. I can't pronounce the Hebrew word. Well, I'm going to try to pronounce the Hebrew word. The Hebrew word is pronounced Chats Chatsora. The Hebrew word is Chatsora, and the word means trumpet. Okay, next we're going to go to Psalms 81 verse 3. That's Psalms 81 verse 3. And it reads, it says, blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed, on our solemn feast days. For this is a statute for Israel, and a law of the Most High of Jacob. This he ordained in Joshua for a testimony when he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not. And that was in Psalms 81, and I read verses 3 to verse 5. Now in verse 4 it says, "For this is a statute for Israel, and a law of God to Jacob." Right? So this we commanded to blow the 2 silver trumpets. Because we're talking about silver trumpets here. Now let's go look, what's the Strong's Concordance number they give us for Psalms 81, verse 3. Let's look that up. Psalms 81 verse 3, Strong's Concordance number is 7782. I have notes. I made notes. So I would have to be actually flipping, looking through all this stuff. I made notes. I have my Strong's Concordance here, so you know that I actually did use my Strong's Concordance number to get the numbers. This is the new Strong's Expanded Exhaustive Concordance of the Bible. It says the most complete, accurate, and up-to-date New Strong's with Hebrew and Greek dictionary words, now expanded for 200 to over 600 pages. It says the most complete, accurate. Now this Strong's Concordance also has the TWOT. You see this when you look up, when you go online and you look up the Blue Letter Lexicon. Before it gives you what the word means, it has the TWOT and a number behind it and the letter A or B, C, whatever. TWOT stands for the Theological Word Book of the Old Testament. This Strong's Concordance also has the BDB. Sometimes you may see that also on the Blue Letter Lexicon. BDB stands for the Brown's Drivers Bridge Hebrew and English Lexicon. Dates back to 1964, and I think the TWOT dates back to 1994. But also the Brown's Drivers Bridges Hebrew and English Lexicon also dates further back to 1760 something. So this is what these words meant. Now a lot of times on the blue letter, thing y'all be looking up on the internet, a lot of y'all use the internet rather than getting the actual book for yourself. They update that sometimes, and sometimes they may add in a new meaning of the word. So I get a lot of challenges from people saying, "Oh, but this word means this." I say, brother, read the whole thing. It says it also means other things too. It don't just means the first thing it says. It also means what the second and third and fourth thing it said too. But you have to read it in its context to get the context of the verse and what the meaning of it was within that verse. People have a problem with understanding that. But let's go. The Strong's Concordance number for trumpets in Psalms 81 is 7782, and it says it's a shofar. It says as giving a clear sound or carbon horn, trumpet. So it's a shofar is another word for a trumpet, something that gives a clear sound, right? Right. Now, because I'm going through my notes. Now, let's find out about the ram's horn, because this is the silver trumpet versus the ram's horn, right? We first read about the ram's horn in the book of Joshua, Joshua chapter 6, when the children of Israel was commanded by the Most High to get trumpets made from the ram's horn to blow to knock down the walls of Jericho. I'm not going to Joshua, I'm just paraphrasing on what it's about. They used ram's horns to sound the trumpet to take down the walls of Jericho. The Strong's Concordance number for trumpets in Joshua is 7782, which is the same number I used for Psalms. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I sorry? Hold on. Y'all bear with me. I'm read through my notes. Yeah. The same Strong's Concordance number for 7782 is the one they give you in the book of Joshua. But if you look up ram's horn in the Strong's Concordance, now I'm going to physically do that. Move my Bible to the side. Move my Strong's Concordance closer to me. When you look up ram's horn, which you have to look up word ram and find it through the verses where it says ram's horn. You see Joshua chapter 6 verses 4, 6, 8, and verse 13. The Strong's Concordance number is 3104. 3104. And when you look up trumpets in the Strong's Concordance for Numbers chapter 10 and Psalms chapter 81 verse 3, you see the Strong's Concordance number they give you for trumpets in that is 2689. They give you 2689, which says trumpet. Then in 81 verse 3, it gives you 7782, which is the same Strong's Concordance number that you get when you're looking up trumpet in the book of Joshua, right? But when you look, which is shofar, but when you look up ram's horn, you get 3104, which when you read the book of Joshua, it actually says ram's horn. So you look up 3181 and you go back to trumpets and you don't see 3181 nowhere for any of the feasts, any other thing about sounding the trumpet. You don't see 3181, which is the ram's horn. But where do you see the ram horn used? Go to Jubilee. When you go to Jubilee in your Strong's Concordance, the Strong's Concordance number is 3104. And 3104 is for the whole book of Leviticus chapter 25. And Leviticus chapter 27 and Numbers chapter 26 verse 4. And all those have to do with the Jubilee year, the Sabbath year, right? Because every 7 years is a Sabbath year. And in the book of Leviticus chapter 25, it tells us that in the 7th year, which is the Sabbath year, on the Day of Atonement, you take the ram's horn. It says trumpet, but you look it up, there's a ram's horn, and you blow that on the Day of Atonement in the Sabbath year. And also, on the 49th year, which is the counting of 7 Sabbaths, you blow it on the same day, the Day of Atonement. And then on the 50th year, which is the Jubilee year, you blow it at the new moon of the first month, on the first day of the month. And you also blow it again on the Day of Atonement for the Jubilee. So the only time we see the ram's horn being used in the scriptures is during the Jubilee years and in the Sabbath years. That's the only time you see the ram's horn being used. They didn't use the ram's horn for the new moons. They didn't use the ram's horn for the Feast of Trumpets. They didn't use the ram's horn every Sabbath day. This has become a tradition that we've gotten from the Jewish people at these Messianic synagogues and at these Jewish synagogues. They always blow the ram's horn. They always use the ram's horn. You rarely ever see them use the silver trumpet. But in Numbers chapter 10, it tells us to use the silver trumpet, right? Right. So after doing our research, we see that the silver trumpet wins. The silver trumpet beats the ram's horn because we were commanded to use the silver trumpet for the assembly, for the calling for the feast days and for the new moons and everything. We see that we were supposed to be using the silver trumpet. The ram's horn was used for the jubilees, for the Sabbath years. Not for every Sabbath day like some use. Not for every feast day like some use. It was only used on the Jubilee years and the Sabbath years. And on the Day of Atonement. But the silver trumpet is what we're supposed to be using. Thank you all for watching today's episode. If you like the video, please hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe if you're new. Leave a comment, and if you want to ask some more questions, you can leave a comment. Until next time, peace and shalom.